Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Curator's Corner here at the National Civil War Naval Museum. I'm Jeff Seymour, curator and historian here. Ladies and gentlemen, for this episode, we brought in some small items. Normally we talk about some of the big stuff, the cannons, the ships, and so forth, but some of the small items. And here in front of me is one of our newest acquisitions, a drafting set. Now this set is representative of what you would find aboard ship with a cartography set for a map, for charts and so forth, so that a captain will know how to navigate his way, where he's going and so forth. But also with engineers, drafting the plans of a ship. And with the gunners, there's a lot of math and science that goes into the art of firing an artillery piece. We're going to focus in a little bit closer to these items so to give you a better perspective, a closer look at these. Some of these tools would be very common, very familiar with a modern elementary school student. This is a protractor used for a ruler, used for determining the size of arcs and angles. It is a common instrument that has been around for centuries, so it's not uncommon for this to be in a type of set like this. This is a ruling pen. This is for drawing very fine lines on your paper. In the center here, between these two fine arms, you will place an ink cartridge, and you can tighten it or loosen it depending on the size of the ink or the size of the line that you want to draw. And you draw along the paper. So this is doing very fine artwork. Very important for drafting those fine pieces of engineering plans, for drawing your way along your map and your charts and so forth for navigation. So there's a multitude of uses for this type of drawing pen. The other items here are variations of the compass. The compass, or compasses, is also a very common and old tool for doing math, for doing science, cartography, any number of applications. The simple compasses here is for giving you a sense of measurement along a piece of paper. So you can get those fine distinctions to give yourself perspective, to give yourself measurement for your course. Again, used by cartographers, used for getting your sense of place on a map, for making engineering drawings and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most complicated of compasses, known as a sector, sometimes referred to as a military compass. This is very complicated. This particular instrument is made from ivory, and it has a brass connector to it. It is a ruler, but you will notice along the sides of the compass there are a series of lines and numbers. These are in place to give proportional mathematic computations. You can do trigonometry, you can do geometry, you can do cube roots, you can do square roots, any number of mathematics to give you proportion for size. Again, for cartography, for drawing engineering plans, any number of applications for mathematics. But it is also commonly used in artillery. So gunners will use this to help determine distance when having to figure out how far away something is to hit that target. This compass would also be very familiar to a modern elementary school student. It is for drawing those arcs and circles. On one leg of this compass, you have your stationary point, very fine. On the other leg, you have a place to put your lead so that you can draw those arcs and circles. The knob here releases so that you can widen or tightens so that you can close this so you can get very fine arcs and circles. The last type of compass here is sometimes known as a divider. It's used also for proportion. If you notice here in the middle of each leg, these brass items slide along the length of the open space in the leg. And that way you can open up and close down your compasses to give you different dimensions. Now if you notice the normal legs of the compass on this end, but there are shorter legs on the compass to be used here. Again, giving you proportion either way that you use these. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are very common aboard ships or even in the design and building of ships. Engineers would have these, navigators would use these tools, so there are a number of applications they can be used for. This particular set dates to the Civil War. We don't know exactly who they belong to, but they are associated with a Confederate naval officer, and we're still working on some of the background information in this set. But this is one of our newest acquisitions, and this is a very welcome addition to our collection. And ladies and gentlemen, please come visit us and see more of these stories that you'll hear nowhere else at the National Civil War Naval Museum.